Here's a list of my top 10 best gifts for any RC hobbyist. These are not in a ranked order because they're all just great gifts, but starting with number 10, we have a car stand. A stand like this one here will cost you about $10 to $15, but you can also get much bigger stands that have way more cubbies and little storage compartments and screw trays and stuff like that, and those will cost you about $30 or more. These stands are really nice because you can fit almost any size car on them. Obviously, if you have like a super huge car, it might not fit as well, or a really tiny one like a mini crawler or something like that. That's also not going to fit on here that well, but pretty much any other size of car, this will work perfectly. Not only are these stands great for working on your trucks, but they're also great for storing your trucks. So maybe you have a really messy workbench, kind of like I do, and you've just got stuff thrown all over the place, so much so that you can't fit an entire truck on top. Then you can just throw one of these stands in the middle of the chaos and plop your truck right on top of it, and problem solved. Also, I'll put links to all of the items that I talk about in this video in the description down below, so if you're interested in any of these, just head down there and check them out. The next item on this list is actually this right here, and that is a pit mat. I believe this one was actually made from a cut-up yoga mat, if I remember correctly, but you can buy actual, proper pit mats that work amazingly. Obviously something like this works as well, but if you want something, a bit more professional looking, then you might want to buy a proper mat. These are going to be helpful for keeping your workbench a little bit cleaner, because as you can see, if you're working on a super dirty car like I have, when you're done with it, you can just pick up the whole mat, dump it over the trash, and then throw it back on here and you're good to go. The next item on this list is going to be just a quality set of tools. You can spend pretty much however much you want to on these RC tools. You can spend around $30 like I did on this kit. This is a dynamite kit. Again, I'll put links to all of these down below, but you can also spend like well over 100 if you want to, or just get a couple certain, hex driver sizes or just little things like that. So you can really spend however much you want to on these, but they're so nice to have. It's just infinitely better to have a toolkit versus trying to fix your entire car with those little Allen keys that come with the trucks. Of course, those are helpful sometimes too, but having just a nice toolkit is just so helpful. Next up is going to be differential oil, shock oil, and I figured since we're talking about oil, just might as well throw some bearing oil in there as well. You can get these little kits like I have here. This is straight from Traxxas. I believe you can get some kits like that with the same thing for shock oil, or just go with, something like 20 to 35, weight or something around there. You're not going to go wrong with that. And for bearing oil or bearing grease, just any generic bearing oil will work. I have this dynamite stuff right here. I love it. It works like you'd expect it to. Just stick a little on your bearings when they start to get a little crusty, and you're good to go. All these different kinds of oils and lubes and greases and things of that sort are going to be super helpful with just keeping your car running smoothly, just making sure that it performs as well as it can, and just, keeping up with maintenance, making sure it stays nice. Next, we have body scissors and a body reamer. These will usually cost around $15 to $20, but of course, like those other tools, you can spend a lot more if you want. You can get these curved scissors like I have here. You can get perfectly straight ones, even more of a curve. And this body reamer here, if you don't know what this is basically just for punching a hole into your RC body. These will mostly be useful for anyone who's maybe building a kit or, repainting their own body. Just things like that. If you're not doing anything else with an RC body, if you haven't bought a new body or anything like that, then these aren't going to be of a huge use unless you're trying to modify a body or maybe cut out some of the fenders to put some bigger tires in or just something like that. Then those will be super nice. But of course, these are just nice things to have in your toolkit. They just come in handy every now and then, and not even necessarily for RC bodies. I mean, I don't know how many things I've used this for, but I've used it just to punch holes in a whole bunch of random stuff, and it's actually pretty helpful. Okay, so the next few things I have on this list I don't actually own, and I, believe it or not, have not actually ever owned them, but I've heard that they're amazing things from lots of other people. The first one is going to be Cow RC cleaning products. They have a whole bunch of different RC cleaners just to make your car looking shiny again, because these things get pretty dirty, and it's always nice to get all that dirt out of there, whether that be just so they look a bit nicer, or it will actually clog up all the parts and things in your drive line and your suspension, and everything will get kind of dirty and grimy after a while. So I'm sure that would be a nice thing to have. Again, I've never actually owned any of these. I really got to get some, but just haven't gotten to it yet. Next up is something that I should really actually seriously get, and that is a Lipo Bag. A Lipo Bag is used for charging Lipo batteries because, well, these things can be kind of dangerous at times. If they explode or catch fire, which usually happens while they're charging, then it's kind of hard to put that fire out because I don't know why exactly, but some scientific reason, something about Lipo batteries makes it so you can't put them out with water. It just makes them worse instead. So yeah, they can be kind of dangerous, and a Lipo Bag is basically just this little container that you can put your Lipo in while you're charging it, so that just in case it does catch fire, it will be mostly contained in that little bag or little box until you can get it and throw it outside or put the fire out somehow. So here is my current version of this next item, and that is a car bag. I've just been using a regular old backpack just to chuck everything in, but you can actually get proper RC car carrying bags. You can get different bags designed to fit different sizes of cars, or even different models of cars, like say race buggies or truggies or monster trucks, things like that. They look super helpful. I've just always kind of used a backpack because you can throw anything in it, and I've already got several backpacks that I can use for that, so it's kind of difficult to justify spending the money on something that I don't really need. It would just be kind of a nice thing to have. Now back to the items that I actually own. This is going to be these little charge indicators. These can come in many different forms. I have the Traxxas ones here. These will just work in Traxxas batteries, but you can get them for, I believe, pretty much any type of battery connector out there. They'll just look a bit different than these ones that I have here. And these are super cheap. I think these ones were like $5 or something like that. So these would make for a pretty good little stocking stuffer. This next item is a very useful one, and I actually use it to make these YouTube videos, and that is a Workbench Light. This light here is actually super crazy bright. Clamps onto the desk right there. You've got your controls here. You can make it brighter, dimmer, you can even make it warm or cool colored. So you've got some options there. Of course, you can just get a very basic, just little clip on, one setting, just on or off little light, and that would absolutely work as well. But you can also go for a bit more of a complex something like this. Just to show you here, this is the light completely off. This is all the way on, as bright as it can go, so there's a pretty big difference there. And with this light, I have, the regular cool setting like this, and I've also got a warm light here, which is pretty neat. I don't use this setting all that much just because I prefer this, the very nice bright white light, especially for filming these YouTube videos, which is typically when I'm working on cars. I almost always film everything that I'm working on because I just don't have a ton of time to make these videos anymore. So it's super helpful for working on cars or even making YouTube videos like this. I absolutely love having a desk light like this. It's so helpful. If you'd like to see some more videos from this YouTube channel, you can click right here or right here for some more of those, and I'll see you over there.